What's going on, guys? Bringing you guys another video of Blackbeard. This time facing my friend Anarchy, otherwise known as Carrasco at Locals. Um, I'm going second here. He's playing Green Yellow Law, so it's gonna be a very interesting matchup. Obviously, he has a lot of on plays, and I know this, so I'm gonna try to turn him off as much as possible. I do use Lafitte here and find a Van Auger. Of course, I know Lafitte isn't going to be sticking around too much. He doesn't want to let me get the searches off, which is fair. But the same game plan as always, and it's essentially trying to set up the 7-drop teach and just basically control board. You are going to see a lot of misplays this game because I don't read cards. So you do see Bonnie, which he is able to take a card from the life and able to set one on top, and you do see he sets the Trafalgar Law 5 cost. With leader ability, is going to be able to bounce it once he has a total of at least a minimum of 5 costs on the field. So currently at 3 with the Bonnie. You do see my era begins, and I do find double stage in Laboon, unfortunately having to let the Laboon go to trash since it's not searchable off the card. And just grab a stage, which is perfect to pitch off the other stage I already had. So just continue cycling as you do see here. And I do set up a dot Q, so that next turn I do have the Van Auger to be able to remove whatever he does set on the field here. So I do pitch for leader ability, as you do see the Van Auger. He is going on to his 6th on turn, so is going to be able to, set down a Cavendish, restand 2 down, use leader ability, bounce, the Bonnie, play whatever's in life. So there are a lot of things that Law can do. I do have some gameplay on it. You do see I do take the 5k to life. Just trying to find whatever I can. And he does set down a Bonnie search. He's going to look at the top 5. And here is the OP11 Veggie, which is going to be the bane of my existence this matchup because I do not read cards and I do not read his effect. Nor did I notice what's happening. So big misplay on my part. But you do see swings 5 at lead with the Bonnie here. I do believe I decided to take it here, which, yep, looks like I do decide to take it. No trigger, which hopefully I was banking on in my era to just filter and find stuff. So you do see Veggie hits the field, and Veggie's ability is if I attempt to remove any Supernova type card from the field with an ability, like an effect, he is able to send them to the top of life. So yeah, you're going to see here I do Van Auger and Doc Q the Bonnie, and he puts it into life off the Veggie ability. I do not register this at all, so very bad on my part here. So I do swing into that Bonnie and then establish a Caribou blocker just so I can kind of block her up from being able to protect the board, because I want to protect this dot Q. Just again, form of removal, and I don't think I have 7 cost teach yet. And I do pitch the Burgess, and I believe I grab another burger. But yeah, big thing is to read your opponent's cards, because this Veggie is just gonna, you're gonna see this ability is gonna run rampant on me for a little bit of the game until I finally click in my head that I gotta get rid of this Veggie. So here my opponent is thinking about what to do here, whether just to poke into the dot Q. Obviously the one thing I want to protect on my board is going to be the Van Auger, because it is going to be the form of reduction that I have. Without the Auger on the field, the 7 cost teach isn't going to be able to do much late game, because I am going to need at least reduction. So that is going to be the one thing I want to protect. Dot Q I can kind of get around not needing. So we do see here, and then of course Green Yellow Law does have a lot of things going on in the deck. However, me pitching for my ability takes away a lot of the capabilities that it's able to do, because a lot of the times it's going to want to play the bounce law, bounce character, play from hand, reveal from top of life, play that out, stun something with like a Bonnie, Cavendish to be able to on play, restand 2 downs, extend your play. So definitely a lot of things the deck can do. Also has, Zeus that it has access to be able to pop the Van Auger. So it is very important that I continuously negate the on plays. And you do see he does use that ability to bounce the Shirahoshi back after establishing a Veggie to play out that Bonnie that he did stick in the life with the Veggie. And he does search one more time with another Bonnie, the one that he bounced back for leader ability there. So is going to swing 6k, and I do decide to block it. And he passes turn over to me, and pretty much I have the setup that I want to be able to remove board here. I do think I have 7-drop. Yep, I do have the 7-drop in hand. And again, 5k swing in the Bonnie. It's going to clear the Searcher. And the Van Augur Docu can remove one Veggie, and the Teach can remove the other Veggie, only leaving a Bonnie. And once again, here is going to be the big misplay. I choose the Bonnie over a Veggie. Completely oblivious to the Veggie's ability once again. So, does get a free heal off my stupidity here, but it is what it is. Of course, if I did it the opposite way, again, Bonnie would be the only thing on board, and he would only be at 3 life. Getting rid of another Veggie for me is, the benefit here. But it is what it is. Definitely a big misplay, and it's going to hurt more down the road. Because, again, this would have made this match so much easier, not giving him free life. That's essentially 2 free life I've given him this game, not realizing it. I do pitch for ability again, and you see an Augur is what I pitch. I decide not to use Stage because at this point I've pretty much filtered my hand to where I want it to be at. So that's exactly what I want. I believe I might have a Laboon in hand, or at least another form of reduction to be able to remove more pieces off his field here. So you do see 5-cost Law, and hit the field was attempting to do that because he wanted to essentially establish the bounce, but instead opts to do uses Captain Kid, which is a good choice here because it's going to be able to play out another Capone Veggie. Basically, he's going to attempt to go wide here and bounces that Veggie to be able to utilize leader ability, because you don't want to bounce the 2-cost blocker. So that's why he flooded the board with that 1-cost. And of course, he does know that the Bonnie was in life since he did send it there with the Veggie ability. And ends up KOing the Docu, which is unfortunate because I kind of needed that Docu for what I wanted to do here. So at this point, you're going to see a very awkward turn on my part, but this is exactly what I have to do to be able to remove the useless Captain Kid. Because again, I finally realized that the Veggie is what is saving all these characters and giving them life. So I am going to play out the Kuzan, and I am going to use Kuzan ability to bring back the Doc Q here. So why the Doc Q? Because I have a Stronger in my hand that I'm going to utilize Stronger ability to trash a Burgess to reduce the Veggie and pop it with the Doc Q. Establish Laboon here, and then reduce Laboon, Van Augur, and then 7-cost Teach to use this Captain Kid. So almost a full board clear, obviously, with the exception of the Bonnie. I had to do it this way because, again, I had to get the Docu from trash. Didn't have another one and didn't want to risk not finding it with Stage. So pretty much right there guaranteeing that I get the clear. And also you do see I find a 10-drop, so that next turn I am just able to establish 10-drop and just keep going on with my life there. So as long as my board is able to stick with the reduction and the minimum of 7-cost each, I can remove anything off Anarchy side of the board here. And again, we would have been more further into the game if I realized and read Veggie. So is going to swing 6k to my leader. I do take the swing. Swings another 6k. I do 2k counter with a Stronger, and Hody Jones hits the field. I do take that swing. It's an 8k swing. Don't have the counter to really dish out for that swing there. And here he is contemplating whether or not to bounce the Hody Jones here, which honestly it will be the correct thing to do. If I forget to do leader ability, he is going to be able to rest whatever he wants if I have my active blockers up. So does bounce the Hody back. I at this point pitch the 7-drop. Teach, I don't need it. We're just going to pretty much start establishing 10 drops as much as possible, because we now know that he is going to utilize the Hody Jones for a back bounce, rush bounce, which is a typical law play. I have learned to use it myself. So I am going to reduce with the Laboon -4 and then Docu pop. I choose the Laboon over the Augur because the Augur is going to be swinging for 6k, so it's at least going to require 2k to counter. I do swing 5 at leader because at this point we are going to start dwindling the hand size as well. And then swing 6 and 8. We do take a life there and establish a 10 drop, pitching a Kuzan for my leader ability. Again, to not give him access to on plays, especially now that I know he has Hody Jones in hand that is able to rest whatever Don or character is on the field there. So have to pretty much play defensive at this point. We do have the field to block anything and pop whatever he establishes on the field at the same time. So just a matter of protecting what we can. So he's going to swing AK to my life here. At best, again, I know he has another Hody that he's going to be able to play for 7. So I do take the last life because then I am going to be able to block whatever comes next with the Teach. And I do use the Liberation trigger, which is going to nullify his leader ability, which is exactly what I need to do. So he's going to be unable to bounce the Hody Jones, which is probably why he didn't opt to play Hody that turn. So I do pitch a Docu to start my turn and find another 10 drop, which again, we're going to want to do it this way because we essentially need to be ready for the Hody rush. And being at no life, I'm going to need to be able to block at the minimum 2 swings per turn. So I am going to utilize the Laboon and Van Augur for the reduction here on this 7 cost law to pop with the Docu. This guarantees a removal this way since it reduces it down to a 0 cost. Docu pops a 1, and I am going to be able to swing 5k and then an 8k with the 7 cost Teach. So would rather put more pressure on his life than just pop with a 7 cost than a Laboon. So more value. So I do pitch another Laboon, and again, 2 10 cost Teaches going to be able to block whatever he swings my way with his leader and a Hody. So pretty much walled up exactly how I need to do it. And I believe this upcoming turn he's going to try to establish 3 blockers. I believe it's going to be a Law Beji and a Bonnie. And again, Beji is the bane of my existence this entire game. Stupid. So I do block that swing, and then here goes the board flood here with pretty much all 10 Don there. So again, I know I need to remove the board here. Best thing to do it is reducing with the Laboon, this 5 cost law. However, I do have a 10 drop in hand, and the way I have to play this is reduction first with Laboon preferably. However, I think I'm going to do Van Augur for reduction instead, which definitely should have been the Laboon since Augur is going to be able to swing for 6 and get me a draw on KO if it is KO'd. But you do see the -3, I do give it to the Law, establish a third 10 cost Teach, and I'm going to choose to nullify the Beji. Because then I'm going to pop the Law with the 7 cost Teach. And I'm going to swing 5k into leader. Again, I should have reduced with the Laboon and then swung with the Augur since it would have swung for 6k. But you do see the pop, and then I do swing twice. And then I choose not to swing with the 10 cost Teach because, again, he is able to swing with Bonnie, Law, and could establish the Hody Jones for a 3rd swing. So better not to play it risky because obviously I have to pitch for leader ability, leaving me with 1 card here. So you are going to see he's going to swing 3 different times here. It's going to be, I believe, with Bonnie swinging 6, then leader, and then a Hody Jones. And I do have the 3 10 cost Teaches to be able to get out of all 3 of the swings, which you're going to see here in a second. But that was honestly the best play he could have done. There's no other way he could have swung out. However, after the blocks, it does go to my turn. I am going to pop his Beji with my 7 cost Teach and pretty much guarantee lethal with leader, Laboon, And 3 10-cost teaches there against Anarchy. But yeah, as always, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment down below what you guys thought of the matchups. I'm going to try to have the deck list for the Blackbeard uploaded tomorrow. I'm going to work on that right now. And you should be seeing some green yellow law gameplay later on this week as well. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next one.